Hi, Jason Frausto for TennisUnleashed.net, and today we're going to cover the forehand stretch shorten cycle technique, part 1, which will consist of the ready position and the unit turn. So we'll just look at the ready position itself. We have Andy Murray on the left and Rafael Nadal on the right, and in the ready position there's a couple of key things that you want to make sure that you're doing. So the first thing we'll look at with both players is you see the hitting elbow is away from the body when they're in the ready position. And this is so that they can set up the technique and keep the racket on the right side of their body. You'll also notice that their non-hitting arm or hand is on the throat of the racket when they're in this position to help guide the racket as they make their unit turn here. And we switched over to Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic, and you see similar things with these guys. You look at the starting position, the ready position, and what you see is that elbow away from the body. And again, you see the non-hitting hand, or the left hand for a righty, is going to be on the throat of the racket. You'll also notice that the racket is tilted off to the left side of their chest when they're in their ready position. This helps to keep your right elbow or your hitting elbow away from your body during the ready position. So just as a review of the ready position, the first thing you want to make sure is that you have your hitting elbow away from your body, and the non-hitting hand should be on the throat of the racket during the ready position. And the racket head should be tilted to the left side of your chest, which helps keep the hitting elbow away from the body during the ready position. So we're going to move on to the unit turn here. We're looking at Rafael Nadal on the left and Novak Djokovic on the right. We want to look at some of the important parts of the unit turn and what you should be doing during that stage of the swing. So the first thing we're going to look at is the elbow position as they bring the racket back. And you can see that when they're making that turn of their body, they keep their hitting elbow away from their body throughout the course of the turn. And we switch out to Andy Murray, and you'll see the same thing with Murray. He tends to keep that elbow position away from his body throughout the course of his turn here on the forehand. And we'll move on to the next part from here, but just a different player and a different view a little bit. The second thing you'll notice here in the unit turn is what I call the tilt of the racket. So we have Nadal on the left and Djokovic on the right. And what you see is as these guys go through their unit turn and start to turn their body, you see a severe tilt of the racket forward in this position with the elbow away. And what this does is if you have that tilt forward of your racket, it helps to keep your hitting elbow away from your body, which helps set up the stretch shorten cycle technique. And we switch back over to a view of Murray here, but you'll see the same thing. He's got a severe tilt of the racket, not only here in his preparation position, but you can see that as he brings the racket up, he also has that tilted position with the racket forward and his hitting elbow away. And the last part of the unit turn we're going to look at is when you should let go of the throat of the racket with the non-hitting hand. So you've got Rafael Nadal here, and you'll watch him make that unit turn. Watch when he lets go of the throat of the racket with the non-hitting hand. It takes place around his back shoulder or chest area there. You can see that, and then he gets ready for the rest of the swing. We'll flip over to Djokovic in a second here. And you see a very similar timing with Novak, so we'll watch him go through his unit turn here. But watch how he brings that racket back, turns the body, and then you can see he's letting go of the racket in a similar time or a similar point as Nadal, right around that back shoulder or chest area before he starts the rest of his swing. So just remember, during the unit turn, number one, the hitting elbow should remain away from your body as you're turning your upper body and your lower body. The second part you want to remember is to keep your racket tilted forward during your unit turn, which helps keep your elbow away, which is a key to maintaining that stretch shorten cycle preparation. And the last important part of the unit turn is to make sure you keep your non-hitting hand on the throat of the racket until you reach the back shoulder / chest area of your body, and then you can let go during the unit turn. I'm Jason Frausto for TennisUnleashed.net, and that concludes part 1 of the forehand stretch shorten cycle technique, which included the ready position and the unit turn.